right, Ashley, welcome to the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. This is the first, hey, we have tried to get you on this show before.
Yes.
And you said no because it was
A little bit of nerves.
little bit of nerves, but now I'm so thrilled that we're actually introducing you as a member of our team. And I feel like that was just in the cards. You know, we've worked together for years, and there's always people that you just have like a connection with. And I feel like we always had that from the beginning. The very first time I remember us working together was the RA day. We did a revenue
Yes.
accelerator. It was like online 4 hours getting into it. And I still remember, I was like, oh, I really like this girl. And I was like, these are fun. When
Yeah.
you get amazing people, it's like, that just feels so fast. Like the time goes so fast. And so we have kind of worked together and grown together for several years. And now we're in this like next stage or next phase of our relationship where you worked yourself out of your spa. You know, you've got an incredible team doing great things, and you were ready to kind of take on a new opportunity and challenge. And so we invited you onto our coaching staff. And I really wanted to use this opportunity to just kind of share with the rest of our community your story, what you're about, and let them get to know you as, you know, as I know you. So, welcome. And
Yeah.
where do you want to start? Like, so let's start at like, how did you get into this industry in the first place? Like, let's start there because you have a really interesting path. That, I mean, you're not the only one with military and law enforcement experience. Like, it's surprising, but there are like a handful of them out there. But like, how did you start with a path like that? That's, you know, very kind of law enforcement and military are aligned, right?
Oh yeah.
But then you went into spa. Like,
Yeah. It's a very interesting story. So a part of my past and my story I didn't even realize was in the making most of my life until as I've become a little more in tune with myself that it was always there. So there's this time that where my mom used to say, "What are you doing out in the yard? What are you doing out in the yard?" And I would be sitting out in the mud and I would be putting it all over my body and letting it dry. And then I would like buff it off. And I would tell her, I'm like, it makes my skin so soft. It makes my skin so soft. And neither one of us clicked, what I was doing. And so, I laugh about it now because I'm like, I was exfoliating. And I would tell everybody, like, put mud on your body. And then fast forward to the military. I've always been very patriotic. It was just part of something I really wanted to do, but I still definitely had that girly side to me. And I was randomly deployed, like unexpectedly turned into a very long deployment. And I had just gotten to my command, so I had no idea what I was doing. And I was in a squadron, but I'm walking up to my carrier to get on. And I had these massive bags. This is like a core memory for me. And I could hear people in the background saying, where does she think she's going with all this stuff? And I had like an entire bag of skincare with me. Again, like not
for
knowing
the ship.
for the ship. And we have like these really tiny little compartments. And, there's one in the middle that's huge. And that was like all my skincare and makeup. And so I just the whole time there, I was always, that girl. I did all my things, but I like to take care of myself. And then I went into law enforcement, same thing. I was telling people what to do with their skin, all the things. Fast forward, we ended up moving to Washington State, and I was going to Laurel to be a police officer here. And I just decided we wanted to start a family. I wasn't sure if that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I tried another career path, and it was awful. People I knew were doing it, succeeding, doing amazing things. And I thought, like, this, cool, I want to do this. And it just became a really awful time in my life, a very dark time. And my husband sat me down and he said, you either need to go back into law enforcement or you need to find something else because I want my happy wife back. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. And he said, you should go into skincare. Like, God knows you spend all our money there and you're constantly telling people what to do with their skin. And I don't think I realized um, at that moment that that was a, a fork in the road for me. But I
Did you
was like,
even know about that career? Because I felt like for me, I was always taught like you go to college and then you get a job. Like
yes.
that's what you did. And I went to college, I graduated, I did, the 4 years. I took 5 years, but took 5 years. And then like within months of graduating, I enrolled in aesthetic school.
Yeah, I had no idea either that it was like a thing.
Yeah, I was like,
I
you can actually have a job that you're in a spa all day. Like that's your job.
Yeah, I got treatment, so I don't know where the disconnect of like that is a job came from. But no, I went to the military. I was in law enforcement. I have my 4-year degree. I'm very type A, very driven. And it never occurred to me until my husband, who knows me better than anyone, was like, this is what I think you should do, or go back into law enforcement because I did enjoy it. Um, and I searched out the best schools. I was enrolled a week or two later and went and got my master's aesthetic license. And I told myself I want to either work for a doctor or in a med spa. I did not want to run my own business. And I went and worked in the med spas, did all the things, and I realized that I think I actually wanted to do this. I think I was an accidental entrepreneur, but
Same.
it's who I am at my
Hmm.
core because I take everything so serious, not seriously in a bad way, but I want it to go a certain way. I want everyone to feel very seen, very heard. And I just started as a solo esthetician in just a tiny little room and grew. And then I did a solo salon suites and kept growing. And I was maxed out. I was at capacity. And it was either, okay, this is where I am and this is who I'm going to do, or I'm going to grow a team. And I had my assistant at the time. Um, and we kept trying to get people off the wait list, and nobody would leave. And so I was like, okay, I want to impact more people, and I love a team. I like being surrounded by other people, and so that's what I did.
So what year was it that you started your spa?
So my brick and mortar, we opened in 2021, so right after COVID.
That was you as a solo, or that was your build out for
My
your.
build out. That was
Okay.
my build out. Yep. And I was a solo in 2017, 2018.
Okay. And so you did the solo thing for quite a while before you really started getting into the build out. And when you did the build out, is that when you hired your staff?
Yes. So I had my assistant, who's now my spa manager, and she's been with me, my ride or die, my unicorn, for a very long time. She's actually been through the spa manager training with
Mhm.
Addo. Um, and so now she's a spa manager, but she was my very first hire.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
that is not something that you hear every single day because I will often teach, because I want to normalize it, that like building a team is hard. And
Hmm.
that's where, I see a lot of solos will get up to that like 25 to 35,000 mark and they get stuck because they're the primary revenue generator. They're the one in the room doing everything. They're not willing to hire a spa manager yet because they don't feel that they're ready. And they get stuck at that $30,000 mark. But it's this like catch 22 because they don't have the systems in place to slowly get them out of the room and slowly hire an onboard staff. It, they're not going to hire other people. And so we see so many people get stuck. So when they do hire, a lot of times their team will turn over two, three, four times because
Right.
they don't know how to lead. They don't know what they need. They don't know, women, the majority of us are people pleasers. The majority of us don't know how to clearly communicate in a leadership position, what the expectations are in a role.
Right.
And that's something that is a skill to learn. So the fact that Megan's been with you, from the beginning for so many years, you have obviously like an internal leadership quality, but I would argue, and I think you would agree that like obviously military and law enforcement, there's a lot of leadership that's in
There
there.
is. And I was a supervisor and leader in the military, and then obviously led in certain aspects in law enforcement. I think it's just what we do and who we are.
I I will never forget when I first read Extreme Ownership. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing. I'm like, they're giving like tangible things that are like leadership principles, and it makes so much sense. And
Mhm.
I bought the tickets. I went to Muster, which is the conference that Jocko and Leif put on. I brought Kyle with me. I'm like, Kyle, you're going to love this. This is going to be so amazing. And we go to the conference and they're going through essentially the principles. And he's like, yeah, I mean, this is what I've been taught for the past 21 years. And I was like, what?
You're holding out on secrets.
I was like,
Yeah, it's
why?
amazing.
Why is this? And he's like, yeah, we hear this all day, every day for the past 21 years. And I was like, okay, great. Well, I haven't because I was
Yes,
never in the military. But they do a good job of teaching tangible leadership principles because leadership is kind of a squishy skill to teach, right?
it really is. And also I will say too, it's taught me how to hold people accountable and clearly communicate to people my expectations and how to make them the best version of themselves through my communication. And that was something that I did learn in the military because we knew what was expected. And in law enforcement, we had accountability in our role. We didn't get to, blame it on somebody else or anything like that. It was there was clear expectations, and I think that's really helped too as we've grown.
So 2021, you do your build out, brick and mortar, hire your staff, go through the kind of post COVID boom and all that fun stuff. What was your greatest, like, what were you the most proud of between, over the past 4 years, 5 years that you've gone through
I
that?
think I think what I'm most proud of is my team. Um, a lot of things that I do here in our communities in Addo is there is that fear of hiring, or there is I've hired the wrong person and now what? And it's either the now what or it's the I'm never going to do that again. And I think to fully understand it's okay to figure yourself out and to figure out your team,
Hmm.
and it's a small business. We're allowed to have the team that we want to have. And I think through interviewing and setting those expectations out from phone interviews to the in person interview to the practical really does allow us to find who our people are. And to say that I haven't had employees that it wasn't a good fit is not true. But I think in the beginning, learning and being able to communicate what we want out of our team and how to fix those challenges that are brought up to us, right?
I mean, it would
But
be strange if you didn't have some,
some
people in
turnover,
there. And it doesn't like just because someone's not a good fit for your company doesn't mean that they're not a good candidate. They can
right?
be an incredible person and there's just like a cultural misalignment.
Exactly.
And I think oftentimes that can be no matter how much vetting you do. I mean, that's why we have the 90-day probationary period, right?
Yes,
Because you can learn so much based on the phone interview and the in person and even the practical, but it takes really spending time and being in the same presence as somebody to see how they operate, to see what happens when challenges come up, to be able to say, you know what, they're maybe not aligned with us. And that's
right,
okay. That's
right.
okay.
And taking some personal ownership too as a leader, for my spa manager, for myself, is really getting to know people, their learning skills, their communication skills, and knowing that not everybody's the same and that's okay, and allowing them to shine with their zone of expertise. And I think that's really where my team right now is incredible. Everybody has their zone of expertise. Everybody communicates slightly different. We have our standards that are non-negotiables, so that we're all on the same page. But knowing that, esthetician A, spa manager, everybody communicates slightly different, and being able to show up for them how they deserve to be shown up for as well, because it is a two-way street. I truly believe that we're a unit.
So tell me what your team looks like now. How many providers do you have versus administrative? What is the kind of overall structure of it?
So there's me. I'm no longer in the room. I still do hands-on training with them and guidance. And then we have four estheticians, my spa manager, my front desk, who also one of her collateral duties is social media. So she helps me a lot with that. And then I have a VA and a medical director. Both my VA and my medical director are contractors. So they're like the core of my team. And then, of course, when you're thinking of like your org chart, I have my finance people, all, attorneys, outside people that were also in marketing,
Yeah.
those kind of things. But
I
my
call them
core
your
team is mine.
internal
Yeah.
advisory team.
Yes.
The attorneys, the CPAs, the financial advisors, those are all
Yeah.
really important people that you, even if they are contracted outside services, they are a part of your company. I mean, they've got to know intimately like your goals and your vision. So
They're definitely a part of the team. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without those people. You're dealing with marketing coaches, your tax, your financial attorneys. All those people really do make you who you are, and they can catapult you to the next level.
and
And
that's the role
they're
of
there
the
for a reason.
CEO is like
Mhm.
knowing, hey, where am I smart and where do I need to bring in people that are smarter than me? Like
Absolutely.
we had the Kickstart accounting call and Danielle Hayden, who's the founder, she was like, look, I didn't go to school to be an esthetician. You didn't go to school to be a bookkeeper. So, like, why do you think that just because QuickBooks puts it there that the like big picture strategy and so often that's one of the things that people are trying to do themselves, right?
Hmm.
But there's like entire majors that are dedicated to like how do I bookkeep appropriately? How do I make sure that I'm doing this appropriately? So it makes sense. I believe very much in our role as CEO is to facilitate and lead a team of people that we are pouring into to be exceptional in their particular role, you know?
Yeah, and that makes me, it really does just make me so happy. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, which I feel like our community, are type A, and we are so used to having our hands in everything. We started out as practitioners, and now somehow we are running a business. And I think we do
Somehow.
have to, yeah, somehow this happened to us. It happened for us. But we have to take a step back. And I'm speaking from experience of we don't have to know everything. You
Mhm.
say it so well. It's like we just have to know enough to be dangerous and to make sure we're hiring the right people. And I do think once I let go of so many things and started delegating, is my personal life changed. My
Mhm.
anxiety levels dropped. And now it just makes me so happy to delegate and to have
Yeah.
people in my back pocket who that is their zone of genius. Even my estheticians, like I have one girl on my team and she is just our bookworm. She's our science girl. We're getting ready to start a little series called Science Sundays. And she gets into the nitty gritty. And so now if we are bringing on a product line, I do all the initial, looking in, making sure it aligns with us. But then I bring it to her and I'm like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. These are the products. I give her the stuff. And then she's going to give me that green light. And so I think being able to know, like some people on your team, it's okay that they know more than you and they're better than you, and encourage it. And we're all functioning at a different level, and that's great. It's where the magic happens.
It was a big milestone for me because being the type A and going, like I used to feel that I had to know the answer to everything. And I
Same.
was like, if I'm coaching, they're going to ask me and I need to know the answer. And now one of my greatest things is like, I have no idea what that answer is, and I'm very comfortable saying that. But that was like a big milestone to be able to have a level of comfort in what is my zone of genius and what
Hmm.
do I have no idea about, and just be very comfortable and at peace
Hmm.
not knowing the answer because it doesn't make sense. That's not where I excel, whatever that thing is. And so I'm going to focus all my time and energy on the things where I do excel. And
Right.
I think that we have to get comfortable with that. And it's very uncomfortable to not know the answer. We are taught that we're supposed to, well, if I don't know, I can find out for you. And if I don't, and it, to a certain degree, yes, but it's more as a CEO, it's, well, if I don't know, let me find a person who that is their zone
Yes.
of genius instead of let me find out and learn the answer. It's like, who can I talk to about this?
Right. One of like an ongoing joke in my spa, and everyone knows it, is, Ashley's not allowed to touch the booking software. Like I make a mess of it, and I just, because my brain is just different, I'm in there like, and so my spa manager, that is what she does. And so now the team, because very long time I'm like, you guys know that's a Megan thing. That's, our spa manager. And now they all just know to go straight to her. And it's like, I might be the owner, the spa CEO, but you don't want me in this.
Yeah.
Trust me, this is not where you want me unless you want things to go crazy. Like, I can
So
look at it and run the reports and make sure it's all aligned, but when I start messing around in there, you don't want it. And so I think telling people, letting people do what they are best at is ideal for everyone.
last year for Christmas, Sarah got me a shirt that said, I just work here.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Because
just work here.
there were so many like things would happen and I was like, because Christy really is like, she runs a lot of the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a Christy question. I just work here. You know?
That's what I say. I'm like, that's a Megan thing. I'm not sure. Like, what happened with this protocol? Let me check with the esthetician because, I just created it. Let's make sure it's going okay with them.
But I feel that we are so blessed to be able to be in this position. There's a lot of people that are going to be listening and saying, but there's just no good people, or there's just no like, what, how do we help them to get to the place where they go from maybe those not correct hires? I don't want to say bad hires because I really believe that there are more good people out there than bad. I think it's we don't have the right people in the right positions and
Correct.
we're not attracting the right people. They're all of us started as employees somewhere, right? And
Mhm.
we have grown and built these incredible businesses. And so it's like, how do we get self aware enough to understand what we need and then be able to communicate that so that we can go on this trajectory? I had someone just message me on LinkedIn and she's like, where do I even start? How do I create systems? How do I? And I was like, okay, I'm going to send you some podcast episodes because that's like a big
That's a big
question.
question.
It is, but
And it's never ending.
right, because you get to, it's new level, new devil, right? You solve one
Mhm.
problem, you get to a new level of business. You might be stuck at the 30,000, and then you get stuck at 50, and then you get stuck at 80, and then you get stuck at 1.5.
Yep.
There's these tiers that you're solving different things where at 30 maybe you need a spa manager and you need like actual systems in place, right? At 50 you need a sales system in place
Right.
that's a clear, ongoing, consistent lead flow. At 80 it's a team issue,
Yep.
right? So we've got these different milestones that we're hitting, but to even get to that next one, so much of it is personal development. So much of it is having tough conversations. So much of it is doing things that make you uncomfortable. and
Yep.
falling flat on your face. Like almost everything that goes wrong in my company is my fault.
I that Taylor Swift song, I've sang it a few times through the spa.
I am
It's
the problem.
me,
It's
I'm
me.
the problem. But I think that's the nice thing is I definitely tell people like, oh, that was me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How are we gonna fix it? Yeah. So can you repeat the question real quick on that
Yeah,
one?
I guess I just want to know like what were the like you started.
How to find the right
Yeah,
person.
how do you get through those different levels? Like when you're going through, when you are taking those risks, when you have those moments that you fall on your face, because there's people that are, again, in that beginning and they're like, I'm getting the wrong people and I'm stuck in this catch 22. I'm in this cycle that I'm not
Right.
going. So, like, I don't know if it's a motivation question. I don't know if it's a self awareness question. I don't know if it's a like strategic
I I
question.
think it's a little bit of strategy and internal work. I think one of the biggest things that I see people do, and my biggest mistake in the very beginning, not with Megan, but with my next hire, was I hired almost too quickly, and it was coming from a place of scarcity. And I think you should never make these really big, ginormous decisions on emotion now. I think we have intuition and then we have emotion. And so that I think not making these choices on scarcity. And then the biggest thing that we do now that I did not do in the beginning was really sit down and think about who is this person? Who what do their emotions like? How do they show up for clients? How do they speak to leadership? Are they willing to be on social media? I mean, just brain dump it in on a notepad. This role, this is who they look like. So it's kind of like our ideal client, right? Your avatar, I think having an ideal employee avatar is a
Mhm.
thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a thing that just came to me right now, but and then it's kind of like when you're dating too, you have your musts and your absolutely nots. And I think really getting clear on who you are as a business, your mission, your just everything you stand for. And does this imaginary person right now fit in with that? And then now you have that. And while you're doing the interview process, do they align with that? Because
So
we
for
can
me,
always
that,
teach the skill. We
yeah.
can't always, I protect my team. They are my family. And if I bring someone in that disrupts that, I can't do that. So now I'm very protective and my spa manager and I have really created who is this person and how do they show up? And that's what we're portraying in our job posting, when in our check-in emails that we're when we're reaching out, it's when we're doing the phone interview. These are the things that we're trying to just really see if we align.
So you're getting a little more granular, but when I look at it at that, that's your core values as a company. So
Mhm.
you can have core values as an individual, like what
Right.
is your own belief system? But when you're trying to hire, you're finding someone whose values align. It's not
Right.
like, will they go on social media? It's, are they fully committed to doing whatever it takes to provide exceptional service to the client, right? Like,
Right.
and that means this, and this. And so it,
It's results for us. So what are
yes,
going to get the results? And these are the things that you need to do to get results.
yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely.
anytime you have someone that doesn't work in your company, it's a misalignment of values. And
Absolutely.
so there's this, we learn about this in Business 101. What's your vision statement? What's your mission statement? What are your core values? And most people write them down and never look at them. And it's like, you know, we never use
It was
those.
a check in the
I
box.
wrote it
I
down.
did
It's
it.
in a notebook. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not a KPI. This is like a
No.
who you are.
Yes.
Like, what color eyes do you have? Or what? It's like a
Yeah, you should just
core
know.
piece of who you are. And
Right.
everybody has them, even if you don't have them defined. Like,
Right.
that's the thing. So,
Yeah. So I think just finding people that align with who you are and what you want for your clients, for your business, and not doing it out of scarcity.
That's such a great lesson.
and taking high advantage of the 90-day probationary period. It
Yes.
is doing, weekly check-ins, having those KPIs, but setting them up for success as well. Don't just, something really important is not just hiring somebody to band-aid a problem, but we actually need to pour into them for them to be successful, because at the end of the day, they are an employee and they're here and they need your guidance. So we can't just expect people to come in and create miracles. Like, we really do have to pour into them and train them.
Yes. So
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to introduce you to the Addo community on a bigger scale. I know so many in our growth vector community know you very well, but now in the entire Addo community,
Yes.
welcome to the family. And
I'm
we are
so happy to be here.
so happy to have you and really help those that are struggling with hiring, that are struggling with team. I mean, you obviously have a ton of experience in a variety of different ways, but this is really kind of your niche that you're focusing on is leadership, team development, all of those things. So we are thrilled to have you, and
I'm so happy to be here.
It's going to be an awesome year.
Yes.
Quick reminder before you leave, if your spa growth still depends on you doing more, it's time for a shift. Watch The System Shift, a free training designed to help spa owners break past that $25,000 to $35,000 month plateau without adding more treatment hours. You'll learn the CEO level systems that help you scale while protecting your time, your values, and your peace. Go to grow.addoaesthetics.com/podcast and watch The Systems Shift. That's grow.addoaesthetics.com/podcast.